2020, during the pandemic, Ellison moved to Lanai full-time and started work on the second project, Sensei Ag.
We've looked at agriculture, and it's one of the few industries that has not been transformed by modern technology, and we think we can transform agriculture, and it's a dual benefit: end up with a much more nutritious product, but also lower cost.
It was marketed as a cutting-edge ag tech company that would deliver hyperlocal, nutrient-rich, affordable food around the globe, starting with a pilot facility in Lanai. Sensei Ag would be the future of farming and the answer to nourishing our planet, and would promote food security around the world using the transformative power of data. Amazing. How would it work? 6 hydroponic greenhouses would be built on Lanai, featuring advanced sensors that monitor the plants and control window shades, AI that would determine how to breed different varieties of crops for optimal nutrition, and robots that harvest the food. Keep in mind, they said they're going to feed the whole planet with affordable food with this company. The first CEO, Sonia Lo, told Business Insider in 2021, "In the next 3 to 5 years, our goal is to feed the top 3 quintiles of the world with our products and employ the bottom 2. And then in the next 8 to 10 years, it is to feed everybody." Glowing media reports soon extolled the virtues of Ellison's futuristic greenhouse project and how it was going to change the world. But it turns out Ellison didn't know shit about farming. In February 2025, the Wall Street Journal reported that Sensei Ag has been a complete, abject failure. The greenhouses were estimated to cost $12 million, but ended up costing $50 million. To build them, Ellison hired an Israeli firm suggested by his friend, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But the firm's greenhouses were designed for the desert climate of Israel, and believe it or not, Hawaii is quite different from Israel. Lanai's 80-mile-per-hour gusts of wind blew the roofs off multiple times, requiring extensive repairs and setting back the project. The built-in fans weren't designed for Lanai's high humidity. The facility was supposed to operate entirely on green energy, and 1,600 Tesla solar panels were installed. Luckily, Ellison sits on the board of Tesla and is a personal friend of Elon Musk, so presumably he got mates rates. But the solar panels didn't work. High winds were constantly covering them in dirt, and former employees have said they may not have been installed properly. So, they ended up installing diesel generators instead. How green. A problematic Wi-Fi system prevented the high-tech sensors and cameras from working. Amateur mistakes were made, like putting mature plants and young plants next to each other, allowing pests to thrive. A former employee told the Wall Street Journal that Ellison frequently changed his mind regarding what kinds of crops to grow. At one point, he wanted to grow square watermelons like the ones sold in Japanese gourmet shops, saying it would be like the Tesla approach, where they started out making expensive products before transitioning to affordable stuff. Sensei employees had to explain that most Americans wouldn't buy $100 watermelons. At one point, he wanted to grow mangoes, and employees had to explain that the entire facility would have to be redesigned to allow for the raised beds and additional light that mangoes need. At another point, he wanted to grow wasabi for the Nobu restaurants at his resorts, until the chefs explained that lettuce and tomatoes would be more useful and more practical. The plan to use robots to harvest the crops hasn't happened. Neither has the plan to use AI for breeding plants. No official statement has been made as to why these plans haven't materialized. They planned to grow a variety of fruits and vegetables, enough to feed all of Hawaii. But in the end, the facility only managed to grow lettuce and cherry tomatoes. The lettuce costs $24 per pound in Hawaii. Just as an aside, the Wall Street Journal also reported that Ellison would frequently bring guests from his resorts to tour the greenhouses. One time, he brought Robert De Niro and Tony Blair and tried to get them to eat some tomatoes straight from the vine, despite employees telling him they were covered with pesticides. Blair apparently declined. Shame. But the problems didn't stop Sensei from trying to expand. In 2020, they bought greenhouses in Vancouver and Ontario with plans to sell crops in the US. But the greenhouses had formerly been used for cannabis, which is grown quite differently from fruits and vegetables, and the buildings had to be completely gutted and retrofitted at a cost of $200 million. They later sold the Vancouver facility, but the Ontario operation is intact, selling box lettuces in select stores on the east coast of North America for $11 to $14 per pound. In all, the Sensei farming project has cost $500 million. Beginning in 2022, they've seemed to shift focus and are no longer claiming that they will feed the entire world with affordable produce, nor that they will employ 2/5 of the world. 2/5 of the world? What the hell?
It's absolutely fabulous, and there is unlimited opportunity.
Instead, they're planning to develop a software package that can be licensed by other farms, and are planning to expand the luxury hotel side of the business. Ellison, for his part, is probably unfazed by all of this. His wealth increased by $100 billion in just the first 7 months of 2025, and he has loftier goals than feeding the world. He now wants to put all Americans' data, including DNA, into a massive database for AI to study. Data! Our precious bodily data! A few things fascinate me about this story. First, that despite living on the island, Ellison was completely unaware of the unique conditions of growing there. Second, that anyone would be surprised to find that a bunch of people who worked in tech and data management would be unqualified to operate a farm, particularly Larry Ellison, who was seemingly calling all the shots despite having zero agricultural experience. Also, why do you need AI to operate a greenhouse? Amish people do it, and I'm confident they don't spend $500 million in the process. Could they not find Hawaiian locals who know how to grow food in the island's conditions? As an aside, there aren't any other farms on the island at all because Larry Ellison owns it. You can almost smell the hubris. It smells like vermilion and burned diesel. If peasants can grow food, then I, a very wealthy person, a genius even, can surely do it better.